Hello everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Techopolis 2. We're gonna start off today's episode by unlocking elevators, and I don't know if the elevator mod is gonna require ender pearls. It normally does. Maybe it has been changed in this pack. It requires basic technium. Okay. I farmed up a little bit of industrial hemp and I made enough for 4 elevators. And currently I think there can be dyed with clicking a color on it, but for now I think we'll just keep them white for the moment. So we're gonna go just down here, drop in an elevator right there, and we can now whoosh back up here, and we're gonna need another one here in the middle as well, because I want to have another layer on top. There we go, we're gonna place one right here, so we can now whoosh back up as well. And now we're running into the problem of lighting. We have a feral flare lantern that we can make. We have a bit more extra technium. So what we can do is probably just place this right underneath the elevator if we kinda can somehow. Maybe if we grab a water bucket. And speaking of water, in between episodes, I made an aqueous accumulator, which is basically an infinite water source collector. You just give it a water source on each side and then it will infinitely produce water. So we can drop one right here. Go underneath and toss this guy in. And we're gonna remove these torches because they're no longer necessary right here, as the feral flare lantern will make us some light. I made 2 tree absorbers, one with jungle wood and the other one with spruce wood. The spruce one is obvious, we're building with spruce and we need spruce, so that's that. And the jungle one, I want to have vines, because we've been using vines to make our fluid cells, and I'm assuming in the future we're gonna need more than just the amount of fluid cells that we have, and dry rubber is just nice to have. So we have vines to craft that as well. And down here, I just ran a simple network cable onto some filtered link cable next to the drawers, so we can just see everything inside of the system. And this floor kind of is temporary because I cannot fly yet. Once we can fly, we can just remove it because we can just fly under the base and work on the cabling. So for the moment, it's just gonna stay there. And since we're not gonna be using jungle wood for anything, why don't we make a Sterling Dynamo? And of course, I just took down my metal press, and this requires a gear, and we need to make the metal press again. And in between episodes, I made a crescent hammer, which is much better at rotating blocks because it does all 6 sides. The engineer's hammer just apparently wants to do the 4 sides, for example, like this, and it doesn't even want to rotate it now because it's facing the anyway. I think it might be trying to assemble the metal press as well, rather than rotate the piston, but metal press. And I put it down below here so I could just run a cable like this to give it power, and we can toss in some iron for some iron gears. Now that we have our Sterling Dynamo, I added a reinforced integral component augment, and we can also add 3 auxiliary reaction chambers. And if we, for example, just test it with a coal block, that's going to produce 480 RF per tick. We need 40 per each ore, so I think that might not be enough for all the ores that we currently have. These 8 ores are going to be 320, and then for these I think we just need pulverizers, right? So that's going to be 20, 20, 20. Yeah, we have enough for the moment, at least. So we can set this up wherever we have our power set up for the moment, because I need to have the power kind of close to where we have our ore processing, because we don't have wireless power transfer just yet. So I think over here on this side, where we had the wooden platform before, which I removed since, we're gonna add another kind of something for ore processing and power as well. I have a place where we're gonna set up ore processing, and we're gonna set up gold together. So the pulverizer is gonna pull gold ore, which is being exported out of the system here in the back with an export cable. And then the gold dust is gonna get pushed into this drawer. The gravel is gonna go here on the side. And then it also produces cinnabar, so that's gonna just get exported into this drawer whenever we produce a little bit of that. And then the gold is gonna then get auto-inputted into the redstone furnace and auto-outputted into this framed compacting drawer. And that is pretty much gold ore processing. And we're gonna do the same thing for iron. As far as the power, I just set up a temporary setup with a Sterling Dynamo, so we're processing blocks of charcoal right now. And what we have is a redstone furnace that's getting all the jungle logs that we're producing in the jungle tree farm. and then a sequential fabricator has to craft it into blocks of charcoal because it doesn't work in a compacting drawer. We can only make charcoal into tiny bits of charcoal, but not the charcoal block. And even if you input a charcoal block, it doesn't transfer it back to charcoal. So we can't do that, which is sad, which means I have to use 20 RF per tick every so often to craft a charcoal block, which is perfectly fine, but it's a little bit annoying. And then we just hopper it into the Stirling Dynamo, and right now it's outputting 20% of its power, so it's 95 RF per tick, and I think we should be fine on backlogging blocks of charcoal over time. If we add more machines, that means it's going to burn more power, which means more blocks of charcoal. So we'll see what the cap is on this Dynamo of when we start running out of charcoal. But we can easily increase the speed of this redstone furnace as well. I found a bit of an oversight. The copper dust can't go into a redstone furnace to get smelted. It can only go into the induction smelter, where you get 1 copper dust per 1 ingot. Which again, I could be just using induction smelters here. Is that actually better than using redstone furnaces? I mean, it's 1 dust per 1 ingot. Why am I using redstone furnaces then? Well, I guess I'm switching to induction smelters in a moment. I set up all of the ore processing that we currently can do, and I started running into a problem. We're not making enough logs, so instead of making another tree absorber or making this faster, which we can't because we're using the fastest block, or the fastest cap block that we currently can do, which is Signalum, which is 40 ticks for every operation of the tree absorber. So I decided to just swap it up a little bit. I put down 2 fluid absorbers with some lava gen, so we can run 1 singular magmatic dynamo, upgrade it with a reinforced integral component and 2 auxiliary reaction chambers. If I toss in a 3rd one, this starts sucking up the lava from both of these, so we just eventually would run out of lava. And currently we're only using up 291 RF per tick, so that is perfectly fine. And as you can see, this lava is keeping up at 64 buckets, and this guy is just empty. So we are using as much lava as we're making pretty much. And one cool thing that I noticed, you can kind of chain support frames. So instead of making another 32 and putting it on the side, we are using the middle ones in both of these, which means you use 2 less cap blocks, which is nice. And on the other side, we have just a singular one because we currently have just 3 processing units. And these are just a little bit different. It's just a pulverizer because we don't need to smelt the outputs, and that's pretty much it. So now we're processing all of the ores that we are making, and we can now actually start working towards automating basic Technium ingots. I keep taking fall damage from building by jumping up and down from all of the builds that I've been making, so we're just gonna make a few booties here. We're gonna make some Hazmat Boots, and these say it reduces fall damage, so let's see how much fall damage I take, because I've been building like this. I've been going up like so, and like this, and then over. And here I've been dropping down. Oh, 0 fall damage. Wonderful. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, that's gonna be wonderful. Oh, I'm so glad I decided to make these. I decided to move our storage interface right over here, and I set up a bunch of machines that we kind of generally use to make hardened glass or to pulverize something or to smelt something. So we just have them over here ready to go, and we can just toss a bunch of items in the barrel. They get processed into this barrel and life is good. I have made the ugliest looking contraption for making coal coke and also treated wood. Here's where the ugliness comes in. Because we can't make a pyrolyzer just yet. This requires a blaze rod, which we can make because if you put 5 blaze rods in a metal press, you can make a blaze rod, and you can pulverize redstone flux coils to make blaze powder. So that is doable. The only problem is we don't have nether bricks, which require netherrack, which require the tier 9 support frame, and all the way over netherite, hellish tech progression. Here is where we unlock netherrack. So that's going to be a little bit of a ways away. And because the coke oven is so huge and in the way over here in the back, kind of, we have to run wires on the side and we can't hide them nicely. So for the moment, this is temporary. It's going to change once we get the pyrolyzer and everything's going to be easier to set up. But we're exporting some spruce logs over here into this sequential fabricator, and it's crafting it into spruce planks. And these we're also storing in the system because we use them for building as well, so that's kind of nice. And then we just export them down here to the sequential fabricator to use with buckets of creosote to make our self-treated wood planks. The creosote, though, gets picked up by the fluid cell here and exported out into the sequential fabricator. And the last block we need for basic technium is smooth stone. So that's as simple as induction smeltering stone. There is no recipe for the redstone furnace. It's only the induction smelter, so it is what it is. But this is even faster than the redstone furnace, which is kind of nice. So this will just make 2048 of smooth stone and we'll be good. I am hoping we can insert through the bottom of the advanced crafting table with the exporter. We'll see if I just add this, will you just start exporting coal coke in here? No. Okay, can we do a Technium ingot craft? We can. We'll shift left click to select it. And it's currently not exporting coal coke. It doesn't look like it. So it might have to be the top. Yeah, this works. If we have an inventory on top, we can have it automated. Okay, so we'll put this in a different spot than over here. And as soon as we add this stack of smooth stone right here to the filter, we should be getting basic technium ingots. And I'm just gonna keep it as is. It's gonna make a stack of basic technium. I'm assuming if I add a filtered link cable, I'll be able to see the technium. Yep. It works. Nice. I had a little bit of just off time yesterday in the evening, so I did some chill building, and we have 2 more of these type buildings, so we can set up 16 more machines on each side. And over here, I have automated Invar, which is the same as bronze. You take 2 ingots, combine them in the induction smelter, and we have the lever to turn it on and off. And I currently have it off because we have enough for the moment. And here I automated steel, which is the exact same way. And we're currently running into a problem of not being able to produce coal coke fast enough. So we kind of need to rush to the pyrolyzer as fast as possible. So I think we're just gonna go and progress into the crystals tech line so we can start producing all of those. Before we do, another 2 things that I automated. One is glass, and I decided to put a glass here, which makes you see everything ugliness behind, and I think I'll hide it at some point with some other blocks. I just don't know what to use yet. Maybe we'll just use sand, I guess. Glass we needed for glass bottles to automate the lava bottles. So I just ran a pipe from the lava generator over there because we're not using that much lava that we can't use it for making lava bottles. So we're just making them with the fluid encapsulator. We don't even need the bottling machine anymore. I'm gonna make a bunch more advanced technium. I think 16 ingots is what I prepared here. And we're just gonna wait until we can use a pyrolyzer to make coal coke to automate steel gears. Plus we need diamonds so we can automate the gears with the multi-servo press instead of having to use the metal press, because this is clunky and bulky and I can't use my magnet around it because the items get into my inventory and it's just more annoying than using a multi-servo press. So we will make ourselves the research papers for crystal and we can submit those. And now we can get crystal fragments inside colored stone. I set up the crystal ore miner, and since this makes the crystalline, this guy, and this can't be really made into any sort of block or anything, we are just gonna leave it as the crystal ore here. It might look a little bit wonkier, but it's fine. Maybe we'll do some sort of something with colored stone. Maybe we can do something that looks like crystalline or something, but that's for the future me problem. I want to also unlock niter ore because that is going to be easier than actually automating niter. I just have no idea where in the quest book it wants you to submit this. Ah, here in the elite research, we need to submit this and 16 tech bucks. We currently have a total of 6, but we can now, since we have basic technium, just craft these up. There we go. And I think we just have to buy a node of niter ore here from the quest book. So we need more tech bucks. We have to buy niter ore. Nice. And you need which tier? The gold tier, which we have. Nice. To automate the niter ore, we're just going to use a simple pulverizer, and we're going to use a framed compacting drawer and just a regular compacting drawer on top. And apparently niter can't be put into a compacting drawer, so we're just going to get a regular drawer instead. Even though 9 niter can be compressed into a block of niter, apparently some of these are just weird with compacting drawers. I would have to probably go into the configs and add them to a whitelist of some kind. But it doesn't matter. We just need niter, I think. We don't need niter blocks specifically. And then we just add a filtered link cable and we have ourselves niter automated. The crystal ore, on the other hand, just requires a single pulverizer to turn it into crystalline and then another one to turn it into crystalline dust, which is then used in the induction smelter to make peridot dust, ruby dust, and sapphire dust. I currently don't have time to dive into the crafting of all of these crystals, so we're gonna save it for next episode. And with that, I want to thank you all so much for watching. I am really hoping you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, make sure to smash the like button. You can also subscribe to get notified of when new videos go live, and you can support me on Patreon as well if you want. And I will see you all in the next episode. Have a good one. Bye bye.